Hey, what's going on? I wanted to talk to you today about my new favorite synth. It is an FM synth or a phase modulation synth called Pivot from a company called Force. And I love this synth so much, and it's to the point where I haven't even really used any of my hardware for a couple of weeks. I'm almost ready to sell all my hardware just because this has been so inspiring and so much fun for me to use. And whenever I come into my little studio or whenever I come in here to write music, the first thing that I'm reaching for is Pivot at this current moment. What is Pivot? Pivot is a 3-operator FM synth or phase modulation synth. I'm not smart enough to know the difference between the two of them. Something about one of them's pitch and then one of them is like, I don't know. And I think that's probably one of the best things about this synth is that you don't really need to understand FM synthesis. You don't need to be a mathematician to be able to make really, really cool sounds. Take a look at this real quick. So this is Force. I hope I'm saying that correct. The website is sick. They have a couple of different plugins. So they've got Pivot, which is an FM synth. Sala, I think it's Sala, is this bizarre reverb. I don't really even understand how it works. I've been using it on a lot of my tracks and it's just, I don't know. It's really spacey and weird and it's free. There's another synth on here called Tela. And then also there are Max for live devices. This one right here, I love this. I think it's called Return. This is free, right? Look at the design of this. Look how sick it is. So here's Pivot, right? There is a free version and it is a 2-operator synth. It's a little bit more scaled down. You could just try this for free. I encourage you to do it. I'll put a link in the description below. Lastly, take a look all the way down here at the bottom of this website. It says DRM free. There is no license authorization, online requirement, or other forms of DRM, digital rights management, I think is what that stands for, measures taken in Pivot. We believe that users should be treated with respect and trust. So when you buy it, it's yours. If you put it on a thumb drive, they can't take it away from you. There's no weird waves thing. There's no change to the license. Once you buy it, it's yours. That's how all this shit should be, right? You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm gonna try to explain this so simple. And I understand that this is a fool's task to try and explain FM synthesis in a very short and concise way. Almost every video that I've ever watched where somebody says, oh, I'm gonna explain FM synth to you super simple. Like 10 minutes later, they're still talking about algorithms and ratios and sidebands. So I'm gonna try. Here I go. Okay, we have 3 operators, and operators are essentially little synth modules. There are 2 different types of operators. There are carriers and modulators. Carriers make noise. Modulators modulate. They don't make noise, okay? This is a 3-operator synth. Number 3, number 2, number 1. 1 is the carrier. 2 and 3 are modulators, right? Carrier makes the noise, modulator modulates, okay? Each of these operators are sort of like their own little contained synth module. So you have an oscillator, you have level, you have an envelope for the level, and then you have feedback, which basically allows you to feed that oscillator signal back into itself. We have ratios, which basically just change this shape here, right? It's just making it faster or slower, right? And it goes all the way up, look at that. Okay. Here's our feedback. And if we sort of mix these things together, right, then we can start to get different wave shapes, right? You also have an ability to change the phase where this cycle starts. In a typical FM synth, you have something called an algorithm. And basically, algorithms are the way that the modulators and the carriers are routed. It's just different ways to route the operators. They're just different configurations for them. With this synth, you just have sort of like a variable algorithm. Right now, we are just hearing operator 1, which is the carrier. And the carrier is the one that carries the noise to your ear. That's the one that makes sound, right? And we have an envelope for this here. So I'm gonna start to raise the level of operator 2 right here. And then what you'll see is the effect on our carrier down here. Look at this. we can have this signal feeding back into itself and then going into operator 1. Let's take a listen. If you take a look at this shape, if you know wave shapes, this is starting to look a little bit more like a saw wave. Here's the other part that makes this interesting is that you have envelopes for the level. So if I were to move the attack up on this level here that's modulating this, see how it's sort of like leading up into it? It's going to start with that initial just sine wave and then it will morph back into this. Right, we can make this much more intense. I think that this sounds really cool whenever you're much lower down. How sick is that? I was trying not to get sidetracked while I explain this, but just listen to this real quick. The way that this algorithm is set up right now, operator 3 is going into operator 2. So if I move the level up here, we're changing this waveform and it's represented here so you can see what you're doing. So now this waveform is what is being fed into the original sine wave, which is the carrier, and the carrier is what you hear. This is the last little part. We have these ratios. And as I said before, it just sort of like multiplies this signal. So, right, here's 2, 3, 4. Look, and you can even see how many peaks there are. 4 peaks, 5 peaks, 6, right? So you have a micro adjustment for these ratios, and this is where you can get into some really odd harmonic stuff. So you can even use this if you're thinking about percussion, right? And we take this down. Right, it kind of sounds like a woodblock or something, right? It sounds like you're hitting a log with a stick. Now it's starting to sound a little metallic, right? As we add level from operator 3, I've moved the ratio up to 2. These are really, really cool sounds, and I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't understand the math around it. All I know is that I'm just sort of playing around. And I think that's what's important about Pivot specifically, is that it invites you to start playing with stuff. That's the beauty of the design of this synth. This is it, right? Just a brief overview, right? So you have 2 modulators and then you have 1 carrier. The modulators don't make sound, the carrier makes sound because it carries the sound to your ear. You can use the 2 modulators to affect the sound of the carrier. And all of these different things that are on here, feedback, the ratio, the envelope, it all just changes the way that it modulates this carrier, right? If we take the level down from operator 2 and the level down from operator 3, look at this. It's just a sine wave. That's it. So you're just modulating a sine wave. That's all FM or phase modulation synthesis is. The rest of this is for you to explore. I tried my best, okay? So let's just take a listen real quick. Here is what this sounds like when you first open it up. All it is just a sine wave. Down below here, we have a filter section. Variable, right? So you can sort of move it around. So high pass filter, band pass, low pass. Your resonant control, you just like move it up. It's really intuitive, an ability to turn it off, keyboard tracking, and then here's your envelope and your amount for the filter. It's super straightforward, right? Quickly, I'm just gonna explain some of this stuff down at the bottom. It's really self-explanatory, right? Here's your voices. You go up or down, right? 16, 8, mono, right? Right here is a unison. Octave, right? over here is like a widening effect. It's sort of like a chorus, but it's sort of transparent, right? And then we have a distortion over here. And this is modeled to sort of sound like an analog synth sounds whenever it's feeding back into itself. It's sort of modeled after that. We have the mod section. We'll click on this, right? We've got 2 LFOs, we have 2 envelopes, we have a bunch of different sources. We've got these destinations: pitch, volume, cutoff. Oh, what the hell is this? This is sick. I just figured this out. Route, so I guess you could, oh my gosh. I just learned something. Okay, so you can route any of these different sources to basically anywhere on the synth here. So that's sick. Level 3 and then level 2 for those different operators. You can change the color. I'm almost scared to change it because I can't remember which one this is, and I like this one a lot. Ew. No. Okay, we found it. If you're listening to this, you might sort of think like, wow, that kick sounds great. It reminds me of the model cycles. That's interesting, right? Go to the Fours website and then go to the About section, the Design and Development, right? And you click on this. Oh snap, it's a CV. Look at this, what do we got here? Product design, Digitac, Digatone, model samples, model cycles, UI, synth engine design. You can get a free FM synth. Here's another use case, something that I think might be interesting. If you're using Ableton, I've opened up a drum rack, drag pivot into these different cells here. Is that what they're called, cells? Let's do 3, right? I'm going to take all of my pivot stuff, I'm going to group it, I'm going to mute it, I'm going to double click on this, I'm going to change the warp to repitch, and then let's go to like 145. Such a cool product, and I wish that more companies made stuff like this. Take a look at this. If cost is a barrier for you, please feel free to contact us. Okay? Nobody's doing that today. Everyone's just trying to like get money from people, and they don't care about people. And I think that the world would be a better place if more companies were like this. If you take a look down in here, I have links in the description down there for Pivot as well. I also have some music that I have written. It is on Bandcamp, and the links are right down here. You could just click on those and you could just listen to it. Hey, you have a good week, all right? Take care of yourself, and bye. Check this thing out, all right?